Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing good today. And today's YouTube video is going to be a little bit different. I'm sort of going to share with you guys some life experiences I've learned that may be able to help you as an angler that maybe a lot of people have never discussed before, or you probably never heard before, at least from the YouTube fishing channels. But what I want to talk about today is basically the two main reasons why good anglers never become great anglers. And there's a lot to that. It's like when you talk about fishing skills, and the ability to become a marquee angler, some of the superstar anglers you've seen in the sport, what is it that separates, people that fish like regionally that are known as really good anglers versus the people that have gained fame and are in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? What's the difference between that two caliber of anglers? And there's two main things that I can sort of tell you about. I want to share with you because it might shed some light on that. The first thing that you need to we think about on this, or the first thing that I want to talk about with it, is the fact that the first of two things that really keep people from that are known as good anglers becoming great anglers are distractions. Distractions can come in many forms in fishing. They can come in financial distractions. They can come in, distractions in your personal life. They can, come in physical setbacks. There's a lot of different things that could distract people, take their focus away from fishing. And one of the things you'll notice about the great anglers throughout the course of their careers is they've been able to fish a good deal of their careers without a lot of distractions that some people have to deal with. And let me give you a little, personal example here of what I'm talking about, in my own situation. Everybody in life, doesn't matter if you fish professionally, your business life, whatever, whatever that you're doing, in this physical realm that we're involved with, everybody has their day in the sun, and they've got their periods throughout the life where they perform at their peak levels. And it's no different in fishing with that. And from my observations and my study in the human experience, it seems like to me that in professional life, as far as whether you're in sports or in business or whatever, you've got about a 5-year window that most people reach their peak at, and where they're firing on all 8 cylinders. Everything's lined up in their professional and personal life. They got everything clicking, going really well, and there's about a 5-year period that you're in. It's your day in the sun. Not to say that you can't have a successful career in whatever you do throughout the length of it. I'm not saying that at all. You can be successful at something for 50, 60 years, but there's a peak time in there. There's a peak period where you excel above all other points in that career. And for me, the example I'll give you is like when I was at the top of my game in fishing, which was in the late 90s and early 2000s, that was a period of my life when I had very few distractions. I didn't have a lot of family obligations. I was doing well in tournaments, and I had solid sponsorships. So I didn't have many financial distractions. Everything that I had in my life for about a 5-year period there was completely focused on fishing. I just didn't have any outside distractions to pull me away from that. And during that 5-year period, I won a lot of tournaments. I had the fish hooked to win a lot more tournaments, made a lot of classics, Forestwood Cups, High-End Angler of the Year standings. That went on for about 5 years. And then what happens in my case, and what happens in a lot of people's case, is life sort of gets in the way. You start having more obligations. You may experience some setbacks, whether it be, financially, personally, or whatever. And every single time that you get one of those setbacks, that sort of chips away at your confidence a little bit. And what happens is that as you're reaching that peak, that 5-year peak that I'm talking about, you haven't had a chance to experience a lot of those setbacks. Your mind's still fresh. You haven't been in it long enough to really know that things shouldn't go your way all the time. And you basically haven't, you haven't experienced, some of the hard knocks in life. And the more you experience those hard knocks in life, the more that youthful enthusiasm goes away from whatever you're doing, whether it be fishing, anything we do in life. That's just part of the life cycle there. So the anglers, what we're talking about, that have achieved greatness are those anglers that have been able to transcend those distractions in life and those things that take up your energy away from fishing better than most other anglers. And for whatever reason, there's a lot of different reasons in that. They could be financially independent. They may not have a lot of a lot of family responsibilities. They may have their life set up where they can fish more and they don't have to do other things to supplement their income, and they can put all of their energy into fishing. And a lot of times they've just had the right breaks. They've had those breaks where instead of losing a key fish at the right moment and finishing second in the tournament, they landed that key fish at the right moment and was able to win that tournament. Because what you're going to find with great anglers versus good anglers is most of the time they've capitalized on that reality that success breeds success. Once you've had some breaks go your way, once you've won a few tournaments, once you've been on the other side, on the good side of the hump, instead of being the bubble person that got knocked out in 11th place or 2nd place, they're always the bubble person on the other side. And if you have a series of events like that, that success that you have breeds other success. That's just a reality of life. And a lot of those anglers that I've seen that have had marquee careers, great careers, they seem to have like sort of a charmed life with that. They've always sort of seemed to get the breaks, and had a lot of things go their way, and they have to not knock them back mentally. So that's the number one thing right there, is basically transcending distractions. Good anglers, a lot of them, even though they're really good anglers, they've never been able to kick it up to that next level and be a great angler because they've had those limitations and the distractions of life simply stand in their way a lot. And this is probably the norm, because I think most people are in this category where they're known as really good anglers. They have a lot of talent, they've got a lot of drive and desire, but they haven't quite been able to kick it up to that next level. I think most people fall into this point simply because life sort of gets in their way. That's the first one. The second one I would say that keeps good anglers from becoming great anglers is the fact that they rely too much on their intellect and not enough on their intuition, that's the name of my channel, is Intuitive Angling. And the reason I put it in there because I place a high value on strengthening and listening to your intuition when it comes to fishing. And intuition is nothing more than trusting yourself. It's trusting how your body feels about a decision. And as you get older, you learn to trust that more. A lot of people, they go against their intuition at a younger age because they simply don't know what that is. They don't know how to trust it. But as you get older in life, and you've been through a lot of life experiences, you begin to trust your intuition more and how it feels internally before you make that decision. A lot of good anglers are intellectually extremely strong. They absorb information really well. They have an ability to assimilate that information. They're smart. They're sharp in a lot of different ways in life, and they can tie a FG knot really quick, and they can read down imaging and side imaging and live scope and all that type of stuff. But a lot of them they haven't tapped into the intuition, the more subtle aspects of the things that makes a really great angler great. And if you talk to any great angler out there, I don't care who it is, whatever your definition of greatness is, Every one of them is going to tell you that they have hunches when they're on the water. They'll have a feeling now and then that they simply can't explain, but they've learned to trust that feeling. You know, if they're rolling down a stretch of bank and it just doesn't feel right, they don't second guess themselves, or they don't hesitate to make a move and leave. They don't hesitate to make a bait change. They don't hesitate to make an area change. They trust themselves because there's a part of that intuition they know that's real. They can't really explain it, but they know it's real. Whereas a good angler may try to intellectualize the situation. They may say, okay, man, they're not biting this crankbait right now because, you know, the wind's died down and, you know, it's gotten a little bit brighter out there and the fish aren't as active. They try to intellectualize the thing that's happening on the water, where the great angler will have a combination of that intuition and that intellect mixed together. And this is something that's it's sort of hard to explain. The people that I know that are really good at it are the ones, you know, that have won a lot of tournaments. They've been at this game a long time. They know what it feels like to win tournaments, and they've been able to capitalize on that. And this is just not for tournaments. This is about life in general. This is when you talk about using your intellect versus your intuition, or a combination of the two. You can literally apply this to everything in life. It doesn't make any difference. You know, your professional life, your work, your personal life, you know, your health, everything about that. So that's just an aspect of fishing that doesn't get talked about a lot. So anyway, just a little bit of a, you know, off the wall topic today. Those are the two keys right there, in my opinion. Those are the things that separate good anglers from being a great anglers, is intuition and distraction. Those, without a doubt, play the two biggest roles, because fishing is, when it comes to the mechanical part of it, it's not that difficult. It's just, mechanics is a learned art. You know, everybody can learn to cast good. Everybody can learn to drive a boat good. Everybody can learn to run the trolling motor good. Everybody can learn to read electronics. Those are learned skills that require intellect. But when you're talking about subtle decision-making processes on the water that go beyond the intellect, that separate a good angler from somebody that is just super good, great, and have had periods of freakish performance, that's when the combination of intellect and intuition mixed together, along with lack of distractions. I've seen that over and over again. So anyway, take that for what you will. I mean, if you can incorporate that into your fishing, great, to reach up to the next level. But if you can't, no big deal, because fishing is not the most important thing in life. One of the things about it is, and from my own standpoint in my career, I know that I could probably have now a much more successful career performance-wise, but at the same time, you're sacrificing other things in life, other parts of life, other experiences that we have, you know, here on this earth. So it's all about balance. It's all about what you want to put your energies into, what's important to you, like that. And I really think it's important to have that balance. I think if you're out of balance with what you do in your personal or professional life, it's not a good thing. So anyway, just a few thoughts today in today's tip. Like I said, I sort of like doing stuff like this once in a while, because I'm one of those fishermen out there that, you know, I think a lot of people get locked in to, like, what's the best bait and how do I need to fish this, and you know, they want a quick, easy fix to become better anglers. But that's not the way it is. If you want to become a great angler and experience those high levels of success, you have got to go further, and you've got to push yourself further into those other realms, because I know what it's like. I've been there. I've had periods of high performance in my career, and I know what it takes to get to that point. It's almost impossible to maintain it for a long period of time, but it's achievable. It's just a matter of, you know, where you want to put your focus on. So anyway, that's today's tip. Hope you guys are doing good. Take it for what you will, and like I said, appreciate you guys. If you're still here listening to this video, you're a hardcore intuitive angling fan of this channel. Much appreciated. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys later on. See you.